What's going on, guys? Joel Green here, and I have a special guest on today. So many of you guys are familiar with Chronic Tacos. I have the CEO on. Mike, what's happening, buddy?
How you doing? Just hanging out at home like everybody else.
I bet you would rather be from store to store, but unfortunately, like everybody else, we are stuck indoors at this point. Tell me a little bit about what Chronic Tacos is doing to kind of, to help get us all through this.
We've obviously, like everybody else, have had to deal with this crisis just in our own business, and being in the restaurant industry, it's hit our restaurants pretty heavily. And when we looked at that, we wanted to look at first and foremost was just the safety of our employees, safety of our customers, making sure that we had all the procedures in place, and then how are we going to adapt to this new normal. And some of the things that we did, especially right away, is we wanted to make sure that we, from a product point of view, we introduced a family pack. So something that was affordable for families to come in. It was basically like a taco bar that a family could take home, and something that was, very affordable for a family of four. And you could order it online or come into the store and order. And it's been something that's, I think, people have really enjoyed and appreciated. And so we've been well supported by our communities, during this time. And we wanted to make sure that we were giving back as well. We've been in business for almost 20 years, and we intend on being in business for a long time to come. So we wanted to make sure that we were reaching out and showing our appreciation to our community. So we've done, corporately, and our franchisees, we've been proud to see our franchisees reaching out and doing stuff, especially with hospital workers and people on the front line. Some of the things we've done, we've delivered burritos and lunches to a couple hospitals, different hospitals, for those working on the front lines. And then we take a look at what else we could be doing. And we know that with the schools and their lunch programs, there's a lot of kids who rely on the school lunch program. And when spring break was approaching, we were talking about, well, what do these kids do? What do they do during spring break? How does this all work? And, what could we be doing? And so we actually spoke with our friends with The Offspring, the band. And, we were talking about what we could do. And, I had this idea of maybe we could provide lunches for these guys that are, the kids that are needing lunches during, the spring break. So we reached out to the Huntington Beach School District, and that was somewhere that we reached out to several school districts. We were able to work something out, because logistically, you still, as much as you want to do, you still have to maintain safety and social distancing. So we were able to work it out with them, where we could set up essentially with our taco truck a drive-through, and the families could line up in their cars and roll through, and we had packaged lunches, and everything was we had proper distancing, limited touch, rubber gloves, and all the safety precautions. So that was, I think, something that we wanted to do, and we thought was great. And after doing that, we wanted to make sure we continue doing that. So we're going to be doing another program with them as well. And we've been really encouraged to see our franchisees as well, reaching out to local hospitals and working with all the frontline workers to provide meals where they could, discounts where they can, and just really, embrace that part of the community.
Mike, that's part of how you and I got connected. We had heard that you guys were doing that out here in the Inland Empire. And for those of you that aren't familiar, Chronic Tacos, you have locations. Well, you had one in Rancho. You're now repositioning or moving that one in Rancho right now.
Yes.
In Rancho, correct?
Yep. Yeah, we're relocating in Rancho to a new building that's being under construction now.
Sweet. Got location in Corona, UCR, Redlands, and I guess a couple new ones coming online here shortly.
Yes. Yeah. So, we've always had a good presence out in in the Inland Empire. One of our founders, Dan, he's lived out there for a while as well, and so it's a part of, we're started in Orange County, and then I would say outside of Orange County, Inland Empire is where we have a strong presence.
Well, anytime we do our fan ask, like, hey, best tacos or best stop Mexican food or whatnot, Chronic Tacos always ends up on this list. So every single time we ask these questions, you guys always end up in this list. And like I started to say, that we got connected with you because we heard what you were doing out at the schools, out with the frontline workers, hospital workers. And we love hearing about businesses, because we know that this is a struggle for you and your franchisees as well.
Mm-hmm.
But still taking that, even though it is a struggle, and you're doing your part to get back. And we love hearing about stuff like that, man. Really love hearing about it.
Yeah, well, community, it's such a big part of our business. Corona, our store in Corona is involved with the high schools, and we do a lot of events out there. And then on campus at UC Riverside, we're quite involved there, whether it's the community events they do on campus. And it's been difficult there because they've closed, and that's they've closed the campus, and that affects obviously affects our workers, and so we want to do things that are giving back to the community. We just opened in Redlands last year, and when we open a new store, our first thing is to really get involved in the community. We've prior to obviously everything happening, we were you would see us at the market downtown in Redlands, and we just really wanted to be a part of the community.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Mike. Right now, as we're still in this quarantine idea and mindset, can people order, or can people come by and still pick up Chronic Tacos even today?
Yeah, absolutely. We have our online app, which people can download from the App Store. They can go online to our website at chronictacos.com. We always have information on our social media regarding online ordering. And then we're available also through the various third-party deliveries.
Absolutely. So before we jump off, man, if I don't ask this question, my wife's going to get mad at me. Do you have any vegan options by any chance?
Yeah, we do.
You do?
Yeah, we were one of the early restaurants, and probably one of the first on the Mexican side to introduce. We went with the Beyond Beef product. So we spent some time, even a few years ago, we actually started testing it and playing with the recipe. And then once supply and distribution got up online, just over a year ago, we launched that in store. So, all of our beans are vegan. We have white lime rice, and Spanish rice. Our Spanish rice is not vegan, but our white rice is. And then we have all sorts of vegetarian options, but we also have the Beyond Beef product as well.
Well, I know about half our audience clicked off as soon as I said vegan. and the rest of them were like, oh, that's awesome, because honestly, man, when it comes to Mexican food, it's a challenge to find that, you said, with the beans and the rice. I'm somewhat new to this world because of my family, but I see their challenge finding those options. So
yeah. I am a carne asada or al pastor guy, but we do want to make sure that we have some options available for our vegan fans as well.
Dude, all you have to do is have somebody in your family that is, and you'll see the challenge is real.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Mike, I really appreciate you taking the time, and honestly, thank you so much for what you're doing to all those on the front lines. I really appreciate it, and giving back to the schools. And, do you post when you do that stuff on your socials, or is it kind of quiet?
We tend to keep it quiet. I mean, we have done, it's been picked up by media the first time we did it. And some of the people who attended, are posted as well. And, we do share the stories of when other people post about us and are sharing those stories. But, and I think it's great. We want to build that awareness because we also want people to, we want to inspire other people to do it. I mean, I think if they see us taking a lead and doing that kind of stuff in our community, our hope is that other businesses will do the same. And we've seen that happen. We've seen, if you look at the restaurant industry as a whole, there's a lot of businesses that are hurting, but they're still taking time to give back. I've seen it with different taco trucks and different other restaurants doing it. So it's not something that I think that it's something we want to do and that we'll continue to do. But if that story is shared and that inspires other people to do it, then that's great.
We came across it organically. It wasn't something you guys did. It was something that was shared to us by a community member locally. So that is awesome. All right, last question. Your favorite, like you walk into any Chronic Taco, what are you, Mike, the CEO, going to order?
I always go with the burrito, and it changes. I used to be I would get carne asada, and then I really love the al pastor. It's just something different. I love the flavor of it. It wasn't something I would always have, but my business partner, Randy, he loves it. And I finally started trying it, and now I have that in a burrito. I have it with breakfast. It's probably my favorite thing right now.
Nice.
I eat it a lot, so I eat a lot of Chronic Tacos, so I have to change it.
Nice. Hey, Mike, thanks again for being on with me. I appreciate it. Take care. Keep up the good work out there, man.
All right. Thank you for having us.